why some international students successfully transition to permanent residents while others return home with their dreams shattered. Good day, my wonderful and successful international students. I'm very happy to be here with you today. Why do some international students build successful lives abroad, while some others return home feeling like their dreams collapsed? Well, stay with me, because today we're going to share 3 practical strategies that you can begin applying right away if your goal is to build a successful professional life abroad and eventually position yourself to maybe become a permanent resident in the country in which you're living now. In the year 2020, I created this channel because I have been an instructor and a teacher for more than 20 years. But for the past 10 years, I have been having the amazing opportunity to coach, to instruct, and to teach over 5,000 international students in different countries. And I believe that in these 10 years, I have found something very interesting, that we prepare students academically in universities, of course. And of course, we have all the people that are going to help us with the paperwork and with our applications. Perfect. But nobody really prepares international students for the human side of studying abroad. The emotional resilience and the intercultural intelligence that are required to thoroughly thrive in a new country. What I have learned through all these years and while talking to all these successful international students is that studying abroad is not just about intelligence or dedications to studies. It is about understanding the hidden curriculum of living and working in a different culture. And that is exactly what we explore here in this channel together. So if you're navigating this journey as an international student anywhere in the world, make sure to subscribe so you never miss any of our episodes. Now, let's talk about the question that keeps so many of us awake at night. There are 3 main differences that separate the students who transition into permanent residence and the students that end up returning home with their dreams shattered. The first difference appears in something very practical: how students choose their first work experience abroad, and how students actually start looking for jobs while they are still studying. In most of these countries, we have the opportunity to work part-time, right? And usually, many international students believe any job is fine. I just need to be able to pay the bills. And listen, I understand. Survival jobs are real. And of course, we need them. In many of the countries we move to, actually, we need local experience. And sometimes we must begin with what we call a survival job. And that is okay. Many of us move into these countries with a lot of professional experience. And of course, that professional experience, it's amazing. However, we do not have the local experience. And sometimes it is very hard for us to understand that we have to begin from the beginning sometimes, okay? Now, those students who successfully build careers abroad tend to think a little bit more strategically about their work experience. They don't just look for any job. Even if this job might seem like an entry-level job in this new country, try to think like this. In this new job, you're actually going to be learning the rules of how workplaces are going to actually expect you to perform in this new country. And that is why sometimes it is so required to have local experience. I have a lot of the students that begin with customer service jobs, but eventually once they show that they can be capable of doing many things, they are usually promoted to supervisors, they are promoted to coordinators, they start to be promoted into the same organization. And that is one way of thinking strategically about looking for jobs. Now, this might also include campus jobs, like in your own university. Sometimes research assistant positions, teaching assistant roles, student leadership opportunities, or volunteer roles in professional organizations that are related to your field. And you might think, well, why does this matter so much and how is it connected to my permanent residency? Well, because these roles do something extremely powerful. They help you build relationships, and relationships with professors, professionals, mentors, supervisors, managers, people who may become later references, job references for you, advocates, or simply individuals who may have the opportunity to open doors or recommend you for other jobs. The goal is not just earning money. The goal is starting to build a professional life and a professional opportunity for you and visibility for the future, not just a paycheck. Now, the second difference between those students who can transition into permanent residence and the ones who have to end up going home has to do with timing, specifically the timing for networking. Many international students never fully understand the importance of networking, or they begin thinking about networking only after graduation. But the students who succeed usually start immediately, much earlier in their journey abroad. Sometimes they do this during their first semester. In my case, I remember I started in the first 2 months after arriving here in Canada as a student for my second postgraduate degree. So I can tell you this works. Now, this networking can feel a little uncomfortable for many of us because culturally, networking is not something that we were taught how to do back home in our native countries. We just did this naturally. So nobody actually taught us how to network. So that's why we feel like weird about doing this. In some cultures, and this makes it even more challenging, success depends mainly on exam, credentials, and having always the best grades. That's it. However, and this is where everything clashes, in Western professional environments, success is not often based on grades. It is built through relationships and professional visibility. So successful students begin building these relationships early on in their international study abroad experience. These students talk to professors after class, attend professional events, attend conferences, workshops, attend the events that the universities organize for international students. They connect with alumni on LinkedIn. They volunteer at industry conferences simply to be present in professional spaces. Now, sociologists call this social capital. Remember, we have talked about this in many other episodes. And social capital is very relevant for international students to transition because social capital means those relationships you create that give you future access to opportunities. In many job markets, opportunities are not only distributed through job applications. They are usually distributed through networking. So if you wait until graduation to start building those relationships, you are applying to strangers. There are hundreds and sometimes thousands of people applying for the same job. So it's not the same when you are referred to one of those positions. If you start early on in your experience, you're applying to people later on who already know your name, who know who you are, right? And here's the crucial part. Trust, building that trust that we actually create through networking, it's always going to take time. Building meaningful professional relationships often takes years. So if you delayed those networking connections, you may not have the professional connections that you could later have to secure the type of job that you need to stay into this new country. And this is why timing is so important for you if you want to make sure that you can transition into permanent residency in your new country. Now, there's a third difference, okay? A third difference between those students who can stay and those students who end up going back. And this is the one actually that breaks my heart the most, because this is where many brilliant, smart international students struggle. And this is called cultural intelligence. Cultural intelligence means understanding the written rules of professional life in your new country. So let me give you a very simple example. In many cultures, humility is a very important value. In many cultures, we are taught to be modest, to wait for your turn to speak. However, in many Western workplaces, if you wait quietly to be noticed, you may have to wait forever. Successful international students eventually learn how to navigate these differences. They learn how to speak up in meetings, how to raise their hands, how to disagree respectfully with the manager, perhaps, with a supervisor, with a coordinator, how to talk about their achievements in an interview without feeling that they are bragging. They are not scared to ask the questions. They're not scared to speak up. And this is the painful truth. Many international students are actually incredibly talented and hardworking, intelligent, capable. I have them in my classrooms. They are good human beings, but they are playing a different professional game with very different rules and with rules that were never explained to them back home because they're just different. I always tell my students, it's not about what culture is better or what culture is worse. It's just cultures are different. And these students struggle because they were never taught the cultural rules of a workplace in this new environment. So cultural intelligence is what transforms someone from a highly skilled foreign graduate into a very successful professional who will truly belong to that new environment. And that's usually what organizations in your new country are going to be looking for. When I tell my students sometimes, and here, this is an example here in Canada, you must have Canadian experience. And everybody goes like, why is this so important? It's not about the Canadian itself. It's about you learning how to behave in a Canadian organization, which may be different to how people used to usually behave in your native country in a professional environment. Now, as you may have guessed, the 3 simple strategies that you can start applying right away and that can help you succeed in the goal of achieving a permanent residency are closely related to those 3 main mistakes that we were just talking about. So take notes and start right away. Number 1, be honest and take a moment to evaluate your current work experience. Ask yourself whether the job that you have right now, this part-time job that you may have, is only helping you survive financially, or whether it is really helping you build future professional visibility. Even if you have an entry job position at the moment, is this organization giving me the opportunity to grow within the same organization? Can I have the opportunity to become later on a supervisor, a coordinator, and maybe start growing within the company? Then that may be a good choice. But if your current job is not connected to your field, it may be the time to be brave and start exploring opportunities that move you closer to the professional environment where you want to enter. And remember, you must secure usually a job that is closely related to your degree in order to apply for permanent residency in most of these Western countries. Got it? Very good. Number 2, start building one new professional relationship this week. Don't wait any longer. It could be as simple as sending a message maybe to an alumni from your program, from your university on LinkedIn, or speaking with a professor maybe about possible career paths in your field in your new country. There is something I always recommend to my students. Most professional institutions, professional organizations, these are associations that have memberships for students. Become a member immediately so you can start attending these events. There are a lot of online events, there are a lot of in-person events, because networking, as we just said, is not about asking for a favor. It is about learning from people and building true, deep relationships over time. Got it? Very good. Strategy number 3. Begin developing your cultural intelligence. Now, this might sound very challenging because you might think, wait a minute, this environment is completely different from what I'm used to. So there are many ways you can do this, and this will also take time. That's why you need to start right away. Observe how communication works in your environment. Pay attention to how colleagues interact in meetings. That's why you have to go to conferences. That's why you have to attend more than just your classes. Try to go to professional events in which students have actually special rate, special fee. Sometimes it's for free. But look and pay attention how professionals talk about their work, how ideas are presented in professional environments. Cultural intelligence grows through curiosity, observation, and practice. And this cultural intelligence is something that you can learn by watching, by observing, but also you can read books about cultural differences and try to start just setting a small goal for you this week. I am going to observe, I'm going to become more aware of what's happening around me. Now, none of these strategies require extraordinary talent or a lot of time. But you know what they require? And this is always, I always tell to my students, they require awareness, creative thinking, critical thinking, intention, and the willingness to learn. So that is the only thing you need to do. Once you understand the hidden rules of studying abroad and working abroad, you stop feeling like an outsider just trying to survive. And you start positioning yourself as someone who can truly build a life abroad. So this is something you can start doing immediately. Now, don't get me wrong. Studies are important. And as a teacher, I need to give you this disclaimer. You still need to keep paying attention to your classes. You still need to keep paying attention to your assignments. However, as we already said, grades and assignments, that's not it. This is what can make the real difference. Got it? Very good. Now, we all would like to hear from you. Which of those mistakes have you been perhaps unconsciously making in your study abroad experience? Or maybe share with us which one of those 3 strategies do you feel you need to work on the most right now? Now, share with us in the comments because you are not alone. There are over 5 million international students around the world right now, feeling perhaps the same way you're feeling. So if this episode helped you, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with other international students who may be needing to hear this message today. When you subscribe, remember, you're also helping other international students around the world discover this community and realize too that they're not alone in these invisible challenges. And remember, as I tell you all the time, this journey that we go through when we become international students is not only about studying abroad, it is about thriving abroad. You know that I believe in you. You've got this, and I will see you in our next episode. Ciao!